This portion of the John Fredericks Show is brought to you by Hargrave Military Academy. Attend an educational and informative open house event at Hargrave Military Academy in Chatham, Virginia. For more information, visit online at hargrave.edu. Hargrave Military Academy. Build his future.
Let's go right to Congressman Scott Rigell from the 2nd District of Virginia. He's a Republican congressman. Sorry for that glitch. Great to have you on with us.
Good to be with you this morning, John, and thank you.
All right. Now, Congressman, we understand that you've got a new plan that you've have put in front of conference over the weekend in an attempt to see if you can bring some sense to what's going on in there, Congressman. And without taking your thunder away, it's basically a framework, as we understand it, to reopen the government, extend the debt ceiling, and significantly reform entitlements, which are the primary drivers, as you said, of the debt and the deficit. Congressman, can you outline for us what those are?
Well, I'm doing what I know needs to be done and what is so lacking here in Washington, which is actually putting out a definitive hold-in-your-hand plan that has bipartisan appeal. So many times what's put out, John, is just one-sided. It's more of a talking point, but this one is it really does reflect ideas from both parties, because we must have the support of both parties, to state the obvious, to get anything passed into law. And this would reopen the government, which is so important not only to Virginia, too, for Hampton Roads, but also really our country. There's real pain being experienced because of this. And it would advance an equally important objective, and that is providing an incremental but significant improvement in our overall fiscal situation. It responsibly reels in the rate of growth, John. Not, it's going to go up anyway, but the rate of growth of mandatory spending. I've defined all of these elements in the plan, and that's what's I think stands in such contrast to what our current situation is, because if you ask the President, if you ask Senator Reid, and indeed, if you ask our own leadership and our own conference, what's the specific alternative here? John, they're not any. They can't email you today their plan. I can email you mine, and it can be evaluated and critiqued, and I really think that's what's needed up here, is people just standing for something and not just saying, we ought to be reforming entitlements. We ought to be, no, we need to have a specific plan. That's what America First is.
Congressman, if you go to the U.S. Senate side, I mean, one of the most shocking things I've seen in a long time, I'm no fan of Senator Harry Reid, but the plan that he put, that
he's a deplorable, and I don't even want to use the word leader, but he is harming our country, John. I mean it. He is not providing the leadership that our young people deserve, our seniors deserve, our men and women in uniform deserve. I mean, how many times have we seen him walk up to that podium with that sarcastic look and ridicule, but not offer an alternative? Look, what has he said right now? No. Just a clean CR, a clean increase on the debt limit. This is failure, and he's not offered an alternative. He's not offered to move. And, John, it's immoral. I'm telling you, it's immoral for one generation to consume and to leave that as your legacy to the next generation. And I wish the Senate Democratic Caucus would convene today, have a vote of confidence, and get a new leader. I mean that.
Do you feel, Congressman, that Senator Harry Reid has you said you wouldn't even dignify him with the word leader, but do you think that he's been part of the problem with some of the over-the-top rhetoric? I mean, calling Republicans terrorists with bombs and hostage takers and things of that nature.
I'm struggling to find the words, John, and this is not contrived anger here or inappropriate anger. But when your country's on fire financially, and this important and critical branch of the government, the one that, at least according to history and tradition, is the one that should be above all of this, and the statesman should rise up. Are we seeing that in him? No. What he's giving to the American people is the seduction of, we don't have to deal with this today. It'll be another day. What we have to do right now is reopen the government and pass this debt limit increase, and this is what we must do. No, there's a seductive appeal to that, John, that we have to sharply identify and wisely reject, because what is required in this hour is for not just elected officials, but hardworking American people across this country, including all of those listening to your show today, to engage in this and to put pressure on men and women who are serving of both parties and say, look, we have a divided government. It's been like that since 1776 and even before, and we need to find a way to make this work. And we've got to give a bit, but not in a way that violates deep principle. And that's what's reflected in America First, the plan that I put forth, and people can find it right there on our webpage at rigell.house.gov, rigell.house.gov. It's on the front page, and it's something you can hold in your hand, John. And I'll never present that it's a panacea. It is not.
Right.
It would reduce our overall deficit projection over 10 years by about $600 billion, but it is an incremental step, and it would be so refreshing to me in my at least 4 years of service here to actually get something done on the mandatory spending side, John. Everybody talks about it. Everybody talks. We ought to be. But where are the specific plans? And nobody wants to grab that stuff because it's politically dangerous.
Well, you did.
It's moral.
It's
John,
the same old
I really
story.
see it as morally flawed, and I do not use that term lightly. But it is truly immoral to keep doing what we're doing, and we need to at least make an incremental turn of the ship. We need to turn, about 3 degrees at least, to say that we can turn the ship. And under his leadership, it isn't happening. He needs to go.
A lot of us just scratching our heads over this thing. The plan that you put on the table has a ratio of cuts to revenue increases at 5-1. The plan that Harry Reid put on the table on Saturday, which started this whole debate and even got me outraged, was there was absolutely no spending cuts in it whatsoever. So basically the idea is, why don't we just go ahead and keep borrowing into oblivion with no end in sight, with no plan, as if it doesn't matter. Where's the logic here?
This is the moral failure of his plan. He doesn't have a plan. I guess he does in the short run, which is just to do nothing. John, it's incumbent upon anyone who seeks the high privilege and really the honor to serve the American people at whatever level, House Representatives, Senate, certainly President, to not just identify problems. That's the foundation of it. Okay, what needs to be solved, but to provide specific alternatives, a way out. We're on track right now. It cannot be in dispute that we are leaving our children in the shackles of debt. This is my sweet and beautiful grandchildren and the beautiful generation they represent, the full fabric of our community, regardless of political party, of their parents, ethnicity, where someone lives. That generation is inheriting something that no American generation has ever inherited before, and it will burden them greatly. Now, what we ought to be doing is, wisely growing our economy, leveraging our energy resources like I want to do, and, the administration stopping us from that. I'm so pleased that Senator Warner and Kane are with me in opening up coastal Virginia energy in an environmentally responsible way. So we first grow, or maybe I should say simultaneously. It's not a consecutive thing. It's simultaneously we grow our economy and demonstrate to the American people that this Congress right now can make some advancement and getting a hold of mandatory spending. And that's what America First does. That's the plan that I've offered.
Okay, and Congressman, again, if people want more information on that plan, where do they go? Where do they find it?
Rigell.house.gov. It's always been a challenge to pronounce it and spell it, but it's Rigell.house.gov. And then on Facebook, it's R-E-P, Rep Scott Rigell. And look, regardless of where a person's political affiliation is, I ask that they get on the mailing list to stay informed. This is important. We need an informed electorate in this crucial and critical hour.
Congressman, I've got in about 9 minutes joining us, I've got Virginia Democratic Senator Tim Kaine on the show. If you have one question for the senator, what is it? I'd say,
Senator, respectfully, and he's a good friend. I appreciate, we work together well. I'd say, Senator, what are you doing to move Senator Reid to where he is demonstrating some degree of flexibility? And what plan, if not the Reid plan, then what plan are you for? What plan are you advancing? And I'd say respectfully hold him to that, and he won't mind me saying that. We have to be counted as leaders. We need to be counted, and he can handle it.
Okay, sounds excellent. Hey, Congressman, as always, we appreciate your time.